Coming up on Hashtag That.
We're breaking down everything that happened at the Golden Globes last night.
Plus, movie reviews, batch breakdown, and a red carpet review.
All that and more from Hamden to Hollywood. We are your source for entertainment news.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
What's up, Hashtag? I'm Maggie Smith.
And I'm Quinnipiac. We have the greatest entertainment news of the week coming to you in the next 30 minutes. So first off, with our Golden Globes review, we're going to start out simple. What are your general thoughts about what happened last night?
Okay, so going into the Golden Globes, I had done some research beforehand. There was a lot of controversy surrounding the awards going into it. So with that being said, I think it went a lot better than I had thought.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of great teams and actors, actresses won awards. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people had pretty low expectations, just with it being the first virtual award show, with it being like having a lot of the contestants, if not all of them, on Zoom. I think a lot of people had really low expectations, but I think it turned out better than a lot of people thought. I thought a lot of the awards were very well deserved. I thought the hosts being in two separate places was a little strange. The split screen kind of freaked me out.
I feel like they could have easily been together,
but I mean, that's okay. Overall, I think it was pretty good.
Yes, overall, let's go over some of the best moments of the Golden Globes. I'll go first. So first, Chloe Zhao winning for Nomadland was just iconic. She edited the film, directed the film, she had a hand in writing the film, and of course, it was the first time in a really long time 3 women directors were nominated, and the first time in forever that a female director won.
Yeah, since 1984 with Barbra Streisand.
Yeah,
that's a really long time.
It's a very long time. So it was just so great to see women in the industry getting recognition for all of their hard work.
Especially as 2 women who want to go into that industry. It was like so groundbreaking to see how surprised she was that she won, how excited she was. It like made me feel like I like had that win with her as just like somebody who wants to go into
Then we have Aaron Sorkin, who in his speech talked about the women who were nominated, thanking them. His own daughter is going to college for film.
Yeah, which he didn't seem excited about, but he did thank the women, so he must be okay with it at the very least.
Yeah, it's just so great to see young kids growing up, being able to see these icons winning awards.
Yeah.
And it shows them, like, you know what, you can do this too. And even for myself, it's just so inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring as a 20-year-old. I can't imagine how inspiring it is as like a really little kid.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite moments?
So one of my favorite moments of the night was the tribute to Norman Lear, who has been just breaking through barriers since he started making film and TV and movies. He was just pushing boundaries before like anybody else was pushing boundaries, whether that be race or controversy or whatever it was. And you could tell that he was just really touched by receiving the award. He gave a beautiful speech from his home, and it was just like such a heartfelt, heartwarming moment.
Yeah, I always love the big awards that kind of just go over someone's time span of them being in the industry, really giving them that recognition that all of their hard work has paid off. They can look back and feel like they were just really successful and that they really impacted a lot of people.
And I have to say the tribute was very well edited, which, you know, just appreciate it.
It's always a tearjerker. But another great moment, and I do have a debate with this.
Okay.
The animated feature film Soul, it won Best Animated Feature Film and also Best Original Score.
Yeah.
Now, hear me out. I loved the movie. It was incredible. It really just changed my mindset. Do you think it was made for kids?
Oh, absolutely not. I watched it and I cried the whole time. It made me like rethink my existence, and I can't imagine my like little cousins watching it and even like understanding the concepts, let alone enjoying it. I mean, maybe they would enjoy it for the visuals and like the story of it, but like the bigger message. I think Disney's starting to target more to people that are our age with their content because they know that we're the ones that grew up with Disney and are watching.
Yeah, it was just a very existential film, really just out there, some very scary topics, I think, if you're young, and some very scary moments in the film. And I mean, that has always kind of been a thing with Disney. There are always some scenes in Disney movies that might scare little kids. But this was one film where I was like, I think that this should have been geared towards adults, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know, when I was little, like, listen, I was a little traumatized by, like, The Little Mermaid when her parents, like, passed away, or her mom passes away. I was traumatized by that, but, like, this is a whole other level of, like, traumatized.
Yeah, I just feel like Disney's really shifting from those original fairy tale stories to now just really deep in there with life. And what was another great moment that you liked?
So my last favorite moment I'm going to talk about is everybody's favorite with Zoom, I think, which is seeing everybody's homes and their dogs and their kids. It was Sarah Paulson's dog showed up at some point. He was so cute. And it was just like a really great moment. You know, it was nice seeing celebrities in their own element with their own families and their own homes, getting to celebrate with the people that they wanted to celebrate with.
Yeah, there was Nicole Kidman. She was there with her kids, her husband. There probably was a good chance that if it had been live, she wouldn't have been able to share that moment with them. And like you said, it kind of felt like we were there with them.
Yeah.
And we're just getting that inside look at how do they live? What does their house look like? Who are they sharing this moment with? It was really intimate. It was really cool.
So those were some of our best moments, but unfortunately now we're moving on to some of our worst moments of the night. We're starting with my absolute least favorite, which was Maya Rudolph and Keena Thompson's sketch that they did on stage. I hate to say that I hated everything about it, but it made me so uncomfortable. It almost felt like an SNL sketch making fun of the Golden Globes, but like on stage at the Golden Globes, which was so kind of cringy and awkward, and like it didn't seem like Amy Poehler knew what was going to happen in the sketch, so it was just a little too awkward for me.
It's kind of like someone coming to your birthday and then just like roasting you at your birthday. Like,
it just makes for a really awkward moment.
It was weird. I mean, it was funny at times. Like you said, for the most part, it just really didn't hit how it probably should have. But yeah, a negative that I took away from the night was that there were just too many mainstream streaming platforms.
That's true.
Racking in those awards. And not that that's necessarily bad, but it does take away from those independent filmmakers, people who are just starting in the industry. Netflix, I mean, went into it with 42 nominations.
Yeah.
Walked away with 10 Golden Globes. Then there was also Amazon, the BBC, Apple, all these big names. And granted, yeah, they're creating awesome work. But I do think that independent filmmakers and people starting up need more recognition. One thing I will say, though, on Netflix, The Queen's Gambit, I find this very inspirational because I know that this show, it took 30 years to get this show up and running.
So long.
Because people didn't believe that an audience would like a show about chess. And it's just kind of inspirational that they pushed past that, finally got the green light, and now it's so famous. Everyone loves it. So that was definitely, and it won an award. So I just think that's really inspirational. Do you have any other?
Yes, my other negative, we'll call it a negative, but I did think it was a little funny, is that they just kind of kept all of the people who didn't win, all of the celebs who didn't win their respective award, on screen on Zoom while the person was like giving their acceptance speech. And it made for a lot of really strange facial reactions. I know Viola Davis got called out because she was sitting there just looking so annoyed. She was looking like she wanted to be anywhere else other than the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really awkward moment, although funny.
I don't know if they told them or gave them a heads up that they were going to be on camera for that long. For the most part, a lot of people were just cheering for the person that won, which is really nice. But like you said, some people were up there, not sure if they knew they were up there, and they just looked upset.
Or they just like had stone face, like just like no reaction at all, and that was also a little strange.
Yeah. And then one last note, so the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, they took the stage and they addressed its lack of diversity, of course. That was a critique going into the Golden Globes already. They didn't have a single black voter, and a number of black actors and black-led projects were just totally overlooked. And that in itself, it's 2021.
Yeah, and I feel like we talk about this every year, every award show, that everybody is just like, hey, where's your diversity? And the boards are like, we're working on it, and then they do nothing to change it.
Yeah, they go on the stage, they make a speech, it's kind of basic, and then I feel like it just gets overlooked.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like
and
I said,
it's a major Hollywood problem, even beyond the Golden Globes. But I'm glad that there were multiple celebs that called it out in their speeches to be like, hey, we got to be doing better here. And I hope that next year they do better.
Yeah. What do you think about people making speeches and kind of having that political undertone of a movement?
You know, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, especially when it's like this, where you're directly calling out the organization, where you can say, you know, thank you for this award, but do better. I think it's a good way to do it, where they have to listen.
Yeah. I think if you have that platform, I mean, why not use it? So I definitely think it was a good idea. But we are heading out to a commercial break. We will be right back for more.
I'm Jenny Garth.
Right after the break.
And as a mother of 3,
Don't go
I
anywhere.
know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
While you may not have had time to watch all of the movies up for Best Picture, our hashtaggers certainly did.
Willie Tier is here to break down his top pick for the Best Picture category.
Hi, I'm Willie Tier, and the Golden Globes just wrapped up, and we could break that down, but I decided on shining a spotlight on a singular film that both encapsulates everything that's been going on with the Golden Globes and one of the most important movies in the award circuit this year. This week, Minari. Minari is the autobiographical A24 movie directed by newcomer, writer-director Lee Isaac Chung about a family of Korean immigrants struggling to settle in 1980s Arkansas. We see this endeavor through the eyes of young David, the youngest son of the family. This point of view adds so many layers to the film, as the shots aren't through his eyes, but shot at his eye level. As David explores his new home, the lush field around it, the nearby forest and the creek nearby, we stay with him. Sometimes the camera lens even pushes the leaves aside as it moves through the bushes. Chung's camera just being as naive and playful as a young boy we are following. It subconsciously puts the audience in David's shoes without actually ever having to see what David sees. But we can't talk about Minari without talking about the powerhouse that is Steven Yeun's performance as the patriarch of the family as Jacob. This man moved his family to Arkansas with the dream of starting a farm and, more importantly, hoping his kids will see him succeed for once. The real challenge is the lengths he'll go to prove his worth to both himself and his family. Steven Yeun has been constantly upping his game as an incredible new talent for the medium of film, constantly raising the bar for his fellow actors and as a figurehead for more Asian talent in cinema. Rather than delivering a monologue or descending into madness, we see a real man with real struggles, 1,000 words and a simple movement, a little glance. Only a father holding back tears in the face of a broken marriage and a failing farm. A man constantly on the edge, but not for a second wavering off his chosen path. One important thing to note about the script is the way they handle race. Being written by Chung, an Asian American, you can see he writes about race as he truly experienced it as a child in the scenario. Race doesn't come from anger or prejudice, it comes from a lack of understanding, the source of racism itself. Racism comes in the form of calling the mother cute for not having a full grasp of English and trying to be friendly. It's David being asked why he has a flat face by a boy his age, or sometimes it's something as intimidating as being stared at in church. It's not angry, and to most white people it seems harmless. But it's not. It's hurtful and awkward and demeaning. This movie is filled with offhanded comments that inadvertently offend this family, and for very good reason. It shows race in a way a white director could never articulate. Now, in a larger scale, at the Golden Globes, despite being a film about the American dream, taking place in America, and having a completely American writer, director, producer, production company, distributor, and actors, Minari can only be in Best Foreign Film at the Golden Globes. Globes rules state that the dialogue has to be 50% or more in English to not be foreign, and the rules state that foreign movies can't be in the Best Picture category. Let it be known that Quentin Tarantino's *Inglourious Basterds*, with 42% of dialogue in English, was not deemed foreign. In fact, it was Best Picture running. *Inglourious Basterds* stars a predominantly white cast, while Minari is a predominantly Asian cast. Something to consider. All in all, Minari is a phenomenal film that tells an incredible story that will resonate with a lot of people and will most definitely be recognized for its work at the Oscars in only a few short weeks. That's all from me. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
With all of the Hollywood drama that's been going on lately, Twitter's trending page has been hard to keep up with.
But have no fear, Nina Kelly is here to break it all down. Nina?
Hashtag, I'm Nina Kelly, here for this week's trending topics. Looking for something new to stream? You're in luck. Paramount Plus is launching on March 4th. Instead of starting from scratch, it is replacing CBS All Access. Like its competitors Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus will be offering an array of original programming such as their new series Frasier. Paramount Plus will also have classic films such as The Godfather, and will be streaming movies such as Mission Impossible 7 within 45 days of their theatrical release. You can download Paramount Plus for just $5 a month with ads or $10 a month without ads. In other news, Ryan Fisher, Lady Gaga's dog walker, Wednesday night after taking the singer's dogs out. Two of the French bulldogs, Koji and Gustave, were stolen. Gaga offered a $500,000 reward for the return of these dogs. So, as you can imagine, everybody was on the hunt. Luckily for Gaga, an unnamed woman found the dogs and returned them to her. Luckily, they were unharmed. Gaga went on to praise the injured dog walker by saying, "I continue to love you, Ryan Fisher. You risked your life to fight for our family. You're forever a hero." Fisher has recently shared photos of himself recovering in the hospital and thanking everyone for their love and support. We're wishing him a speedy and safe recovery. It was Pokemon's 25th anniversary on February 27, 2021. You probably remember the hit iPhone game Pokemon Go. As part of the celebration, players were able to collect the original 150 Pokemon in the game. Singer Post Malone, who is a longtime fan of Pokemon, performed at a virtual concert for the celebration. This was a free concert where viewers could turn into Pokemon's Twitch and YouTube channels to watch. Post Malone performed his hit song Circles. That's all for me today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Caroline Torpy is back once again to break down last week's episode of The Bachelor.
Take it away, Caroline.
Hey hashtag, it's Caroline Torpy, and I'm back this week to give you all the latest updates on Matt's last episode as The Bachelor. During this past week, there definitely was a lot of craziness, especially with a third self-elimination this week. I personally love hometowns, so this episode was really funny and enjoyable to watch, and I hope you guys thought the same. During the first hometown date, Matt and Michelle went to meet Michelle's parents, and everything went super smoothly up until the very end. Before we get to that, let's touch on how Matt and Michelle talked to Michelle's parents and how everything went. So Michelle told her parents that she really loved how thoughtful and caring Matt is and how he's so passionate about helping others. Although it seemed like everything was going smoothly, Michelle opened up about how she was falling in love with Matt. Unfortunately, he just kissed her and smiled, and it was a little bit awkward. But as for the second hometown date, Matt and Rachel went skydiving. I thought that this date would go in many directions because skydiving is something that's really scary and on edge, and it really shows that you have to trust another person. But for Matt and Rachel, it was really smooth at first because they both don't have a fear of heights and actually really enjoy skydiving. So they went skydiving, and Rachel was even talking as she was falling down to the earth. So although she wasn't afraid of skydiving, she did get hurt and had a very hard fall. In this moment, Matt admitted that he realized what it would feel like to lose Rachel, and it made his love for her grow even more. Matt and Rachel then went on to meet Rachel's family, and Rachel explained how she didn't see any red flags with Matt, and Rachel's family really liked Matt. Unfortunately though, Rachel got a bit upset when Matt didn't ask for her parents' blessing. Bree and Matt then went on a date, and on their date, Bree admitted that she was really nervous for Matt to meet her family because she was raised by a single mom and she didn't exactly have a conventional family life. Matt described that his family was a similar way, and he said that she had no reason to fear showing off her family to him because he was raised by a single mom too. So Bree and Matt went to meet Bree's mom, best friend, and her babysitter, and everything was smooth sailing except for the fact that Bree's mom was definitely very sassy and straightforward. Bree also told her mom that she was afraid to tell Matt that she was falling in love with him. Serena was the last date, and since she was from Toronto, she couldn't go home, but instead they had a Canadian-themed room and her family came to visit. It was really nice to see her family, and her family loved talking to Matt and sharing all their funny experiences and stories about Serena. After Serena's family met Matt, Serena opened up to Matt about her feelings and how she was really worried and she had a lot of doubt setting in. Matt was very calm though and said to Serena that she shouldn't focus on the future of their relationship and should focus on the now. But Serena was very taken aback by this and so disappointed. She was freaked out by his calmness and how he approached the situation. There was a turn of events though when Matt decided to go up to Serena's hotel room and talk to her once again to share his strong feelings for Serena, to make sure that she knew that he really appreciated and loved her. Serena was grateful that he opened up, but ultimately decided that she was going to self-eliminate. Now, this is really crazy to me because this is the third woman who has self-eliminated from Matt's season of The Bachelor, and now he's the one getting heartbroken. I think this is really ironic because he was never on The Bachelorette, so I think the tables have turned once again, and he's kind of in the women's positions now. So if you want to hear more about The Bachelor and all the latest updates and who is going to be left this season, be sure to tune into #that, and I'll let you guys know who is the final one and all the craziness and drama. See See you guys next week.
Thanks, Caroline. I literally cannot wait to go home tonight and watch even more drama unfold.
We are heading out to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Q30's Hollywood beat reporter Gabby Brolowski is joining us now for a Hollywood news update.
What's up, guys? There's so much happening in Hollywood right now, so let's jump right in. Last night, the Golden Globes were held virtually for the first time ever. In case anyone was worried about that taking away from the entertaining factor of the night, it most definitely did not. From the winners to touching speeches, it was an award show no one will ever forget. One emotional moment during the show was Simone Ledward Boseman's acceptance speech of her late husband Chadwick Boseman's award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture. In her speech, she said, quote, "He would say something beautiful, something inspiring, something that would amplify that little voice inside of us that tells you to keep going. I don't have his words, but we have to take all the moments to celebrate those we love." End quote. How did you guys feel when you heard the speech?
Yeah, I thought that the speech was just beautiful. I personally think Chadwick Boseman deserved that award 100%. Some say on set he was diagnosed about a year before that, and he passed away a year since that filming. So he almost acted as though it was his last time acting, like he almost knew it himself. He really just gave it his all. And that's just a very sad thing to think about. A lot of people have said this is the very beginning of award season.
Mm-hmm.
So if he continues winning, I mean, his wife's going to have a lot of opportunities to kind of just remember him and
I think
celebrate him.
I think it's well deserved. He's genuinely become one of my favorite actors. When he was, all of a sudden he was Black Panther. He really was just so incredible, and every single person that has spoken about him, that has worked with him, has said he was an amazing person to work with. He was such a great actor, and he was super passionate about not only his work, but just everything else he was doing, his charity work, his wife, just all of it. So I think it's well deserved, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of his wife giving very heartfelt speeches on his behalf, which, while sad, is going to be very nice to see.
Yeah, Gabby, what do you think?
I completely agree with you guys. I thought it was so heartfelt. She is so strong. I know, like you guys said, there are new award shows coming up, so it's going to be interesting to see what other acceptance speeches she does. But yeah, she is extremely strong. In other news, this past Saturday, Nick Jonas hosted SNL and continued a very sweet tradition started by Dan Levy. After Levy hosted the show earlier in February, he left a post-it note for the next host, Regina King. He wrote, quote, "You got this." King loved it so much that she continued this, leaving a note for the next host, Reggae Jean Page, writing, quote, "You got next and you are going to be amazing. I'm a big fan. I bet you can guess what comes next because Page left a sweet note for Nick, telling him to just have the best time." What do you guys think about this sweet new SNL tradition, and did you watch the episode?
Yeah, so I watched a bunch of the segments Nick Jonas was in. They were very funny, but I also did see that apparently the ratings for this past episode just weren't what they used to be. And I don't necessarily know what that's all about. I thought Nick was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always the Jonas Brothers, the scandal between the brothers.
There's apparently the scandal's happening again. The first time the Jonas Brothers broke up, it was because Nick Jonas didn't want to be a part of the band anymore. And then he got it back together. But Kevin Jonas actually called him out because Nick Jonas went on SNL by himself, and he was like, "Hey, bro, we good? Like, are we still in a band, or are we breaking up again?" Which is funny, but maybe there's a little bit of truth to it.
I was going to say, it was definitely meant for comedy, for comedic purposes.
Yeah.
But I was like, are you guys okay?
I was like, yeah, wait, is there brother drama? Like, I kind of want to know.
Yeah, but as for the Post-it notes, I think hosting SNL is always just, it's a big job. So to have that motivation and to know that the person before you is rooting for you, I think that's just a great tradition.
Yeah, I think it's just super sweet. It's another sweet way to like bring some personalness to a time where we are obviously not getting to be very personal with a lot of people. So I think it's really great. But what do you think, Gabby?
Personally, I love the tradition. I think it's so sweet. I have heard rumors that it's been really hard for SNL to book hosts recently, so maybe these post-its bring good luck to the show. Well, last but most definitely not least, we are clearly all big fans of the hit show The Bachelor here at Hashtag, and we just got hit with the news that there will be a new host for the upcoming After the Final Rose special. Contestant Rachel Kirkconnell's racist actions in a previous interview. The long-reigning host of the show announced he would be stepping down. So former NFL player Emmanuel Acho will be stepping in and hosting the special with Matt James. Acho spoke about the special saying, quote, "It's both an honor and a privilege to be hosting After the Final Rose. This is an incredibly pivotal episode on one of the most storied shows in television history." End quote. What do you guys think about Emmanuel Acho hosting and about all this Bachelor drama?
I think it's just a super odd choice. I'm not opposed to them having a new host. It just feels like an odd choice. I really did expect them to pick somebody that like was already in the franchise and like really familiar with it, or like that the audience had seen before, so that everybody could like not feel as weird about Chris Harrison leaving. I really expected it to be someone in the franchise, so when they were like, no, it's going to be this person, I think everybody was just a little confused more than excited.
That Rachel Lindsay might have been taking it on, which would have been perfect because she's within the franchise, but also separate. But yeah, it's kind of weird for him to just now be within Bachelor Nation.
And coming up after the break, Maggie and I are doing a celeb celebration. Don't go anywhere.
Hey! There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Before we go, we have to finish out the show with a celeb celebration.
To start, it is Kesha's birthday today. A happy birthday to the pop sensation Kesha, known for anthems that filled our middle school years, like TikTok, We Are Who We Are, and Die Young. So happy birthday to you, Kesha.
And next up, we have a personal favorite of mine, a pop singer who needs no introduction, Justin Bieber. This now 27-year-old rose to fame at just 13, becoming one of the world's best-selling artists. Happy birthday.
Well, that is all we have this week on Hashtag That.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30Entertain, Facebook at Q30 Entertainment, and Instagram at Q30TV.
And make sure to download the Q30 TV app for all the news, sports, and entertainment updates.
Thanks for joining us this week in the Media Suite. For all the hashtaggers, I'm Karina Kamey.
And I'm Maggie Smith. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.